Hello and welcome. You're watching FII. I'm Sonal Mehrotra Kapoor. Now, the pandemic, the reality of it, the fallout of it has been sudden deaths that took place all around us. Young and old dying in a matter of days sometimes, leaving behind not just massive grief, but also a lot of paperwork. Paperwork where the families are now have to grapple with. The economic and financial uncertainties also followed. And then the increase in that led to people thinking, is it time that we perhaps put a will in place quite early in life? The pandemic has put lives and well-beings of countless people in jeopardy. Many people are rethinking their plans for succession, result of which of these difficulties and uncertainties, many people are saying, why not just get a will in place? And now more and more lawyers saying that it is wise, in fact, to do that. But don't get very hassled by it, don't get overwhelmed by the whole concept of having a will. On the program today, we'll take you through an explainer which tells you what exactly is the ABC of forming a will. Let's get started. First up, what is really the best way to get started and what are the basics that you need to know about a will? Well, wills can be handwritten, it can be typed as well, and lawyers do not need to be involved necessarily. However, they do ensure that there is no legal complication later. So, good to have them involved from the very beginning. You could get your will registered, that makes it less prone to fraud. Again, it is not mandatory though, and it must be registered with the registrar or a sub-registrar. A stamp from them basically says it will not be tampered with. But who needs it really? Well, anybody above the age of 21. Those who who are vulnerable, like we're all feeling these days, that's the relevance during these times. You can always make changes to it, remember. But why should you have a will? There are still some people saying, what is the point? Some people think it's only for the wealthy, it's only for the richy rich. Well, those are not the only people who at this point sort of need to put a comprehensive plan of action on what happens after them. There are many good reasons on why you should have a will. Let's state some for you. You can be very clear idea about who gets your assets. You can decide who gets what and how much. You can keep your assets out of hands of people you don't necessarily like, your estranged relatives, for example. In fact, a will is not just for financial matters. You can identify who will take care of your children. Without a will, remember, the courts get to decide that. Your heirs will have a faster and easier time getting access to your assets. But there are various forms of wills. Let's educate you on that. There are basically three. There is a joint will that generally suggested for younger couples when they own assets jointly. There is a single person's will. We'll get into the details on how to make that in just a bit. And then there's something called a cross will, suggested for spouses, making them the first beneficiaries in each other's will. So, once you understand those basics about the will, let's get started on what you need to put together. The first thing that you need to put together is basically a declaration that you're preparing this in your senses and you consent the following points. You need to then start listing out all your assets, your liabilities, along with several other details. In fact, as many details as possible, like your registration details, bank receipts, bank account details, etc. Include your movable assets as well. Do not miss out on personal property, things that you brought during and you sort of bought during your lifetime. Do not miss out on e-investments as well. Assign them to your heir who will own it and in fact, at what proportion as well. If you assign it to a minor, remember to mention a custodian. While you sign the will, remember to have two witnesses. They must not be beneficiaries. You can choose your friends, your neighbors, people who have your utmost trust. And you can always revise your will, remember, add and subtract heirs and assets and liabilities later. For minor changes to a registered will, you may make it through a supplementary statement, but in that case, remember to attach the previous versions as well before you finally submit it. Well, that is all you really need to know about a will. It's not very complicated and you can get started, but still there are lots of questions when it comes to the formation of a will, and we'll be taking that across to our panel. we are very delighted to have Tejpal Saluja with us today on the program. Now, Mr. Tejpal is somebody who has been helping people in these times. He actually joins us from Madhya Pradesh, and he wrote to us saying that there are so many people who are suddenly writing to him in these times saying they don't know how to manage the paperwork. And a lot of times families don't even know what assets were in the possession. So we'll try and decode some of those details with him. We're very happy to have back with us on the program. Nasir is back with us after a long time. Good to get his updates on what exactly, how do you manage your financial assets, especially if you're invested in the stock market, you have mutual funds, how do you manage those? We have also Ramakant Gaur with us, senior lawyer, to try and understand how to work with especially disputes regarding property. That's supposed to be the most common thing. And in a short while from now, we'll be joined by Siddharth Luthra as well. I just want to go across to Mr. Tejpal first. Just take us through, Mr. Saluja, some of the issues that have come to you of late. You said overwhelmingly a lot of women who never had to do or get involved in such things, a financial matter, especially in smaller towns, now suddenly waking up to this reality. How do you address those concerns? What are they mainly?
I say actually the basic problem in the big town cities is that most of the people, whomsoever they own the asset, they don't disclose it to their families at all. Mostly I've seen all the properties being listed, but there had been transitions mostly about insurance mutual funds, which are not being at all told to the family.
I seem to be having some trouble with your audio, Mr. Tejpal. Let me quickly ask my producers to just repatch you. Meanwhile, let me go across to Ramakant Gaur. And I have some viewer questions, so many of them actually that were written to us once we floated that we'll be talking about this. Let me take the first one to you, Mr. Ramakant Gaur. This one is from Awanji 15, and he says, how much does it cost to make a will?
A few papers, a pen, or at the most typewriter cost. That's what is required. In the present times, you want to go to a lawyer. Lawyers are actually advising people, and they are also not charging much if they want to resort to a service of a lawyer. But this is not much costlier.
In fact, if you want to avoid getting into a longer dispute later in life, it is advisable to have a will now.
It is always. You know, you brush your teeth every day. But for the deep cleaning, you go to the dentist. You don't want to be a dentist, or you may be using orthodontic toothbrush, but you don't become a dental expert overnight. So, yes, on a piece of paper, you can express your declaration about how your property would be dealt after your death. That's one thing. But if you want to avoid all the complications, it is always advisable to hire a good lawyer to create that declaration.
Right.
You see, there is one example. Like, normally when we open a bank account, we fill the name of a nominee. But in certain banks' policy, it is already written that as a nominee, you are only a trustee. Trustee means you will be handed over this property or this movable property till the time the real beneficiary comes into the play by virtue of probate or by virtue of court's order. So if you have expressed your specific declaration about the property, movable or immovable, then in that case, your property is safe, and your near and dear ones will not go to the hassles of the court. They will not be suffering after it.
So you're suggesting look into the finer details of your bank accounts, your FDs, etc., which is often sort of overlooked. And I love that analogy about a dentist, actually, which brings me to the next question. And before I go to the other panelists, it's a legal one, so I want you to look at it, Mr. Ramakant Gaur. This one says, who executes a will? And does a will only include major assets like house or minor assets as well? Would you advise people to just lay down everything on paper?
It is advisable to lay down everything on the piece of paper. Somebody who is of sound mind, who has attained the majority, can create will. So, somebody who has some asset, some interest in some asset, he has attained majority, can create this declaration.
Okay.
But somebody who is of unsound mind cannot do this. Somebody, if he does that under intoxication, under the influence of some drug or liquor, that declaration
But how
is
do you
not
prove that?
validated.
How do you prove that in a court of law?
That's
And
a question
I've been
of
hearing some
that's
questions
always
about a
disputed.
video will as well. A lot of people saying that a video recording at times, does it stand the test of the court, or what is your opinion on that?
That's a substantive piece of evidence. Yes, you want to prove that this will is genuine. Apart from getting the signature, you get the video recording also. And you should have independent witnesses. And one more thing, when we are talking about witnesses should normally be the younger person. Because
Okay.
this will would be, utilized after the death of a person. Somebody, if he is 60 and his witnesses are 70, 70-year-old.
Okay, I see your point. Okay.
So, if a witness is younger in age, then it is probable that he would live long and he would be able to testify about the authenticity of the will, about the authenticity of the document in case it is disputed by somebody.
Okay. All right. Good to have that pointed out, because a lot of times people write in a will, or younger parents also will source it to their friends, etc. But if they're all the same age, you're saying it's advisable to have somebody younger. So that's something to keep in mind. Let me take the next question to Nasir there. This one is quite interesting. There is a Twitter handle called Trader Rationale, and he says, can someone make a will for cryptocurrency assets?
That's a very interesting one. Good evening, Sonal. Well, I think, crypto firstly is not legal in India. So I would not want to comment on that. But, it is an asset at the end of the day. If you have global assets and if you hold it in areas which are legal, where it's termed as legal, it will suffice. But, obviously, as I said, it's illegal as far as India is concerned. And domestically, you might want to put it down on paper, but I don't know. I'm not too sure of its legality.
Right.
But coming to the broader perspective, so I just want to come in and just basically debunk certain myths about this entire will.
Okay.
You see, everyone's been going. I mean, we've been discussing with various groups of people, and I can tell you as a banker, we've seen this very often. That a lot of people say everything is going to my spouse. Why do I need to make a will? I made my will 25 years ago. Do I need to update it? I've already informed everyone verbally. I can't afford a lawyer, for example. Wills are only for the wealthy. I think these are myths, Sonal, that need to be addressed very clearly.
Right.
And I heard the panelists mention this. And I think, given the fact that and especially in banks, for example, there are primary holders and secondary holders, and then you can have a third holder as well. I think, and there's another myth that they say that, if there are two holders to a relationship or to a financial product or as an investor, you may not need a will. I must tell you from my banking experience, it's so important, and this is a recommendation to everyone, that so now they must ensure that all their financial assets have nominees mentioned, because in circumstances where we've witnessed in certain cases, I must tell you, they've asked asset management firms, they've asked for succession certificates, and they come in at a very, very expensive cost because you need to register them, and it comes in at a certain percentage of your net worth. So I suggest that, we must ensure that nominations are very important, and they're more important, in my opinion, than even where the money is going to be invested. I mean, it should be that important.
Right. All right. Good to get that perspective from you. We also have Siddharth Luthra joining us on the program now. Mr. Luthra, we've been looking at some questions that come at the time of preparing a will. Now people are saying there is no age really. Retirement is not the time when you start planning a will. You should be thinking now. In fact, suggestions coming in that try and put your assets and nominees, etc. The minute you acquire an asset, get down to putting in nominees at that point itself. Have that entire process streamlined. I mean, it's sad to say that, but that's how unexpected and uncertain life has become. And if you could answer that question that came in from a viewer earlier on what to do with cryptocurrency as one of your key assets. What is the legal area on this one?
Ben, I think there's a slight distinction between Nasir's view and my view. I think cryptocurrency is now in a gray area of the law. And the simplest way to do it is treat it, when you generate will, you can You can specify assets or you can mention all your assets. So once you mention all your assets, that will be covered. So that should not be a problem. But I want to deal with a more fundamental issue because some of the issues you spoke about, I had a connectivity issue, so I heard my friends speaking. And it's always a play to have prevented while I lost the audio. Now, we must understand two things. Nasser is right when he says that we must have nominations. That is almost a must in mandatory. But nominations do not only allow you to transfer the asset upon demise.
Okay.
Subject to the other legal heirs giving no objections. And the transfer of the asset doesn't create title to the asset. The other legal heirs can always take it. That's number one. Number two, and this becomes a constant legal issue. The second issue which you must keep in mind is a will need not necessarily be registered, even an unregistered will be due as long as it is genuine. And I think Ramakant has made a very good point, which Gaur has, that you must have younger witnesses and you must have younger executors. I'm probably an executor on 5 or 10 girls of friends and family, and I keep telling them as I grow old, I said, you may want to look for another executor. But so far, the third thing you must understand is that there are in Delhi and the presidency towns, that's Calcutta, Bombay, Madras, wills need not be probated because there is a process of probate of a will when you have pay a stamp duty, and that gives you the basis to collect the rights to the property. The fourth thing is a lot of states outside places, the other states have a system of legal heirs certificate. So if a person dies,
have a system of, sorry, we lost your voice over there.
Legal heirs certificate. Heirs.
Okay.
So a legal heir certificate can be obtained from the district magistrate's office, which is normally the ADM or the SDM, by which you can get transfer of certain assets made. So if there is no objection, let's say a person dies, he has 3 legal heirs, there is no objection to the transfer of title to that particular asset. You don't need to go through the process of a will. So for different classes of assets, there are different needs. One of the big problems, which Nasser will tell you perhaps more about, is mutual funds, shares. Sometimes it can be a nightmare transferring them. So nomination is a must. And even after nomination, if there's a conflict, because it is always possible that though the nominee may be X, Y may contest that nomination and claim a right to the property. Then there will be no transfer of title to the assets until that matter is resolved in court. And wills are determined, barring the Delhi and the presidency towns, through a probate proceeding. Probate is optional in Delhi and Bombay, Calcutta, Madras, but it is mandatory in the rest of the country. So when you have a will, you must go to a lawyer, present it for probate to a court, and then the court goes through a process where public notices are issued in the newspaper, all the legal heirs called. If they give no objections, the matter is resolved. If you object, then the issue has to be determined in court. And that is a process that takes time. It's not easy. In Delhi, however, let's say you have an asset with the, you have a property which is with the LNDO, landed property, or a bank. You can go with the will and you can say, this is the will. These are the affidavits of the legal heirs. Please transfer this property to my name, and the LNDO will do it because Delhi does not require a probate. So these are important things for your viewers to know.
Right.
And as I said, so far as the cryptocurrency one is concerned,
all right, I just have last few seconds, and I know Mr. Ramakant Gaur wants to come in on the cryptocurrency question that seems to have dominated this discussion. Please go ahead.
Crypto is now validated. I disagree with Nasser's comment. Crypto was not validated into business since December 2016 to 2020. But by virtue of a judgment of Supreme Court, which was delivered on 4th March 2020, a 3-judges bench judgment, crypto business is validated.
Okay.
And on 31st May 2021, there is a circular of RBI which allows the bank to, fall into the transaction of cryptocurrency.
Okay.
So that's a recent development in the area of law.
Oh, good to have that. I'm completely out of time. Thank you so much, all of you, for bringing in your perspective on this. We can perhaps return to this and get into finer details in a later program as well. I have to take a break. See you on the other side. Welcome back, and it's time for a special campaign, Vaccinate India, in partnership with Google, where we're discussing some of the questions that you often are typing on your Google. We have with us Dr. Narang joining us on the program to take some of those questions. Dr. Narang, thank you so much for your time. Let me take the first question to you directly, which is, believe it or not, something that a lot of people are still asking. Can they choose the vaccine?
There is no point in choosing the vaccine. We should just vaccinate whatever is available. Both Covaxin, Covishield have been used and have proved quite well. And now we have got Sputnik as well. And various efficacy data which have emerged from all over the world has helped us in describing one thing certainly, that these vaccines are good to treat the moderate and the severe diseases and will help reduce the mortality. And of course, whatever vaccine you take, and after that you still have to follow the COVID safety norms very strictly.
Right.
And that is very important message.
Right. In fact, if you go on the CoWIN portal, it shows you which vaccine you're booking for. But again, the suggestion from the doctors is just take whatever is available near you. The important thing is to get a vaccine and not go on a shopping spree of choosing which vaccine you really want to get. All of them work, and all of them have been approved by the drugs controller in India. So that should be something that is kept in mind. Let me bring in the second question now, Dr. Narang. This one is a little fascinating, something that has seen a development of late, which is, can I get vaccine without registration? Now, we've just recently had a notification from the government saying that now walk-ins will be allowed for all, and that's a huge, huge thing.
Yeah, certainly, but it will be still linked to your Aadhaar card.
Right.
So that when you go and walk in will be easier for the person in the rural background where they are not very much computer savvy. And whatever the vaccine once linked to your Aadhaar card will help you, because wherever you have to travel, then it is important you should be vaccinated, showing on your Arogya Setu app.
Right. So very important to sort of link it to that. If you can, do register on the CoWIN portal. It's a website, mind you, not an app, as often is confused with people. You can go there and book your slot, get your vaccine, and the certificate comes on your phone as well. I have a follow-up question to that, actually, Dr. Narang, that a lot of people still wonder about the kind of paperwork that is required to actually get your vaccination. Could you shed some more light on that?
Yeah, it's not that difficult. I mean, if you go on to the CoWIN site, you register. Registration is very easy. On any phone, you can register up to 4 persons.
Right.
And then once you register, I know some people are experiencing in finding the slots. That is a problem. But it's less of a problem in rural areas. But since more vaccines are coming, Sputnik is coming, and more in the few months.
It's likely to get resolved quite soon.
It will get resolved. But registering on CoWIN site is not at all difficult. Finding a slot is slightly difficult at the moment, and I don't think there's a lot of paperwork. And perhaps there may be people at your work site will help you to book the slots and other things.
And maybe a good thing to just call up your family and friends who've already got it done. They can also run you through the process. That's something, because all of us know somebody who's been vaccinated for now, especially the older people in the house. So that should come handy as well. I have time for one quick last question that I wanted people to keep in mind. Dr. Narang, some things that you want people to keep in mind when they go for vaccination. I know it is not talked about as much, but should be perhaps on the need to keep yourself hydrated when you go for your vaccine, 5 days before and a little later after your vaccination as well. Why is that so key?
It's like any other vaccine. I mean, children come to us and adults go for vaccination. It's the fear in the mind. Yes, I agree that they should be hydrated properly. And don't go with the fear. It has been now like more than 24 crore people have received the vaccine in India, and many, many more crores have received all over the world. And I don't think one need to worry those effects like having a pain. If I give injection to 4 persons, there may be one person who doesn't feel anything, and there might be one person who says, oh, I had a terrible pain. So come on, this pain is only for a short time, but the way the countries have suffered in the second wave and how many lives we have lost, so many misery, that is important that we should vaccinate.
Right.
Since to avoid the third wave, it's only possible by the keeping more and more vaccination, keeping SMS and isolating at the first sight of symptoms.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Narang, and all those useful tips.
Thank you.